My bangs are not cooperating.
All right, I gotta make sure that I go to the actual YouTube here and make sure it's working.
I should do that too.
And be able to be involved in the chat if anybody's going to join us. Oh, it says we're live. Yeah, cool. There we are. Well,
if you're early, go thumbs it up.
There you go. I like that. Here we are. This is
Hello.
That's right. Got to have that in there. This is chapter 37 of the DC Alliance podcast. My name is Greg, the Bat Daddy 52, and joining me tonight is the lovely Katie. How are you this evening?
Good. How are you, Greg? It's been a while.
It has been a while. Yeah, it's nice to get to converse with you again, especially about some DC stuff. It's cool. You get to drop the robe, if I will say, and we see that underneath the robe is a Justice League, Zack Snyder Justice League shirt.
I know. I figured I'd dress the part tonight.
Yeah, you get to drop the Jedi robes tonight. No lightsabers, nothing. Just pure DC.
Well, okay, I say that, but
I hear you. Can't go full on no Star Wars, right?
No.
Well, cool deal. Well, all right. Well, we'll get things started tonight. We got a little bit of news. We got a trailer to talk about. We got some more Zack Snyder Justice League stuff to talk about. But before we get there, we're going to talk about the network we are a part of. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance network, where you can find shows 7 days a week. You've got stuff like World's Finest True Believers covering comic book story arcs. You've got Star Wars, DC, Marvel, and Ranger Alliance covering said properties in the shows. You have Slice of Film with Katie here covering different movies, which I'm going to be on next week. And I can't wait to watch this movie and talk about it with you because it's going to be fun.
Your episode's going to release first week of March.
Awesome. Can't wait.
So, or last week of February. One of those two.
Yeah, it's going to come out soon. I'm just excited to record it. So it's going to be really fun. You also have superhero discussions covering anything animated, Super Civil Servants covering just about everything there is out there. And on the weekends, Weird Science, DC, and Marvel Comics. Folks, we also have a Patreon account, 2 tiers. One tier is a tip jar. It helps keep the batarang sharp, just $1. And we appreciate everybody who contributes to that. And there's also a $5 tier. And the $5 tier gets you ad-free, early, and exclusive episodes. We appreciate everybody who is a part of that. Obi's back there whining because he can't be. So we appreciate everybody who's in there, and we thank you very much. But that is about it, other than the fact that we are an
network. I'm going to plug the Bridgerton episode. So Sarah and I recorded Patreon. It's the first Patreon either of us have recorded. And we did it on Bridgerton. We took a slice out of Bridgerton, as I like to say.
Nice.
So that should be up next week. So if you're interested, go subscribe to Patreon. Go hear us talk about some trashy romance.
Always fun. You're gonna let us talk about trashy romance. No, it's always a fun time with y'all. Y'all did the Twilight too, right? Twilight series too, right? Yeah. So always a fun listen. Check it out. And you haven't seen the movie we're doing yet, have you?
No.
Have you ever even heard of it?
We're watching it this Thursday.
Okay. Have you ever even heard of it? Because most people I talk to have never even heard of it, but it's a hilarious movie. Got a great cast. You're gonna love it. Can't wait. So won't spoil anything. Well, let's go ahead and get into some news. And we're actually going to break it down into 3 segments here. We're going to do some rumors first. And these rumors are kind of heavy with DCEU, and a lot of them have to do with Shazam and Black Adam, which is one of your favorites of the DCEU. So it's a great opportunity to talk with you about this. And we'll go ahead and start out debunking a rumor here. And Variety reports that Henry Cavill will not appear as Superman in Shazam 2. I know it's been rumored and people have been talking about it because Henry Cavill does have, or he was confirmed by Variety a while back that he was going to have one more role as Superman that wasn't going to be in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, of course, everybody thinks it's going to be Shazam, which makes sense. But it's not going to happen. We know that now. What do you think? And did you expect it to happen?
I'm neutral on like the whole rumor casting because like, obviously, we saw Superman in Shazam. Like, we know he's in that same universe. Like, so it's possible that he could still come in. And I mean, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but Sandberg says that he's not going to comment on casting rumors because originally the Superman cameo that we see without the headless cameo was Henry Cavill. And then halfway through the shoot, they were like, oh, wait, this may or may not happen, and had to like re-gear some things. So for me, stuff up front right now doesn't really matter in the long run because they're not even supposed to start filming this until summer. So in that regard, I'm like, Things could change. I mean, like with Ezra Miller's Flash coming in to Crisis on Infinite Earths, the episode was done.
Right. That was a last minute thing. Yep.
And like they literally called, and added Ezra in and was like, oh yeah, if I can make this happen, I'll make it happen. So to me, anything can happen. That's why, like, unless like we hear the actor or someone say it themselves, which even if the actor says no, I'm not in it. I mean, Jason Momoa said I'm not Aquaman, and then look where he's at. Yeah. So it's take everything with a grain of salt for me.
No. Well, it says that 2 sources with direct knowledge of the production of Cavill's schedule confirmed this in the report. So I feel like I'm at a point where I can confidently say it's not going to happen with him being in Shazam. But like you said, it could be last minute things, anything going on. We don't know. I mean, a few months ago, we knew the Snyder Cut was real. Actually, about a year ago, we knew the Snyder Cut was real, but we didn't know the Snyder Cut was real. You know, we were going to see it. And now we're 38 days away from it, I believe. So it's anything.
What your countdown says later on.
Anything can change. And like I said, it was May 2020 was the date I was looking for, where it said Variety confirmed that Cavill set to play a cameo in a DC Films project that wasn't the Justice League, directed by Zack Snyder. But he told Cavill told Esquire that he was not giving up on the role, and there's still a lot left for Superman yet. The cape is still in the closet. So, if not Shazam, do you think this is still true? Do you think this confirmed cameo is going to happen, and where?
For me, I would think if you're only going to do one more with him, I think the perfect one is the Flash, with all the ones that we've been reported to have. Because while people haven't said the Flash is going to be the reset for the DC universe, I still think it's going to be the reset for the DC universe.
Yeah, it's leading that direction.
So to me, if you want to let Cavill go out, I was thinking Mark Hamill as the Joker and combine the names. If you want to let Cavill go out on a high note, I'd say you put him in the Flash, just like you've got Affleck in there right now. So, or Affleck supposedly in there,
right?
But again, you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, I would have been the last person in the world to say Luke Skywalker's the best person to appear in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But it happened, and you know what? It worked.
It definitely worked. Got me excited. I agree. That's a great spot. And I think that if he's going to have a cameo, that's a perfect place to put him in. You can really open things up in the world with that. And if you have all the characters you can kind of play with, even if it's just for a short role. I just want to see him back as Superman, like for a movie, not a cameo. I know we don't know it's going to be confirmed, or maybe in the future something can happen, but I just want confirmation that we're going to get a Man of Steel 2, something solely focused on him, or we're going to get him into something. And I think that what's going to happen with the Justice League and the results of how well received it is going to change the future of the DCEU entirely. I think, personally, that it could change a lot of stuff. I think they're still going to go the way they're going, but a few things could change, or maybe be added to what's going on.
I think that's possible, but at the same time, I really think that the reason they changed it from a series release into a movie is because it's getting a lot of hype, obviously, and Warner Brothers and AT&T are like, okay, we need to get it out there to appease fans and like make the fans like us. But at the same time, AT&T and Warner Brothers are developing their own universe. So they kind of want to expand away from the Snyderverse in my book. So I think they're just kind of saying, okay, here's your movie. You're done.
Maybe. And if so, you know what? I got to be happy with what I get. And I will be. I'll be satisfied with that. I'll always wonder what if. But at least we're going to get, something.
But I will say, as much of a doubter as I am, I'm not a doubter. I wrote an article in support of Snyder's DC movie or Justice League coming out. Like, I'm all for it. And I took off March 18th so I could watch it whenever it releases. And so I can come join y'all on DC Alliance to talk about it after the fact.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'll be taking off that day too. And that was a question I was going to ask you later is how excited for you are. We're going to get into that because it's worth taking a day off.
Easily. Justice League. I'm in the middle of watching the Justice League animated show because that was how I became a nerd, was that show. And so Justice League is always going to be my top tier superhero team. Like, that's always the one that's going to be near and dear to my heart.
Right.
So I'm always going to be excited for a Justice League movie. Am I a fan of Snyder's vision? No. But I'm excited to see my favorite team on the screen.
I like
in live action.
I like that attitude. Good deal. Yeah. And you know what? Even if you're not a fan of Snyder's vision, this could still be something you thoroughly enjoy. You know? So
not saying I won't.
Yeah, so hopefully it's going to be the case. All right. Well, let's stay in this Shazam universe, and we're going to get some thoughts from you on Shazam. But Sandberg had some tweets this week, and one of them was responding to a person complaining about Shazam's comedic role or his comedic reactions and things, just how funny the movie was. Even though going into it, we knew it was marketed as a movie for the family. It was going to be comedic. And his response was that he's great that you don't like the comedic Shazam, but you'll be thrilled with the direction we're taking the character in. Meaning,
and then the crazy screenshot thing.
Yeah, so not sure what that means exactly. Maybe for me, I'm thinking maybe they're leaning like a little further away from Thor Ragnarok and a little closer to like every Iron Man movie, where there's quips and stuff's funny, but it's not every single line as a joke. You know, maybe.
I think for this case, a lot of people. It's like Iron Man, where Shazam isn't a well-known character. So a lot of people, to see a superhero go from kid to superhero and back, that was kind of riling for them, I would say, because I mean, Shazam's a kid. So to me, you're always going to get those jokes or that, how you doing? Like the teenage boy flirting with the hot female superhero. Like, that's just what kids do. And so I loved it. And I thought there was a lot of heart in Shazam. So there's a lot of good lessons on why Billy like needed to grow up at the same time, but how he reacted, because it's not like in Big. God, I was going with a train of thought. I had a whole debate with Aaron from the Fanboy Garage and Chris about Shazam. Like, I went on their show and I like talked about it because I really loved it. And I think the way that God, I can't even remember the main guy's name, but the way the two main actors for Shazam played off of each other, I thought it worked really well. And then it wasn't just, oh, I'm a grown-up now, I'm going to make grown-up decisions. No, I'm a kid in a grown-up's body, and all of a sudden I have fucking superpowers.
Yeah,
I'm going to go do random shit with that.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Shazam is not in like my top of the DCU movies, but I don't have any problems with it. Like, I enjoy it. It's a good movie. It's just there's other movies I enjoy more than that. But I didn't have a problem with the amount of comedy that was in Shazam, because that's what I was expecting going into it. Whereas, like, just for example, Thor Ragnarok, I still enjoyed the movie. It was a little more comedic than I would have liked Thor to be, because I feel like they kind of made him a punching bag in that movie. But I wasn't expecting that. And I think that's what threw me off of that. Well, like I said, with Shazam, I think the most surprising thing for me was it had a little more horror elements in it than I thought for it being marketed as a movie you can bring the whole family to. Even though they weren't that bad, I get it. It for me, it was like, wow, they're going a little far for a kid's movie. But I grew up in the 90s and kids' movies were way different then. So it's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, Shazam's going to be interesting. Like I said, the comedic thing doesn't bother me. I'm interested to see what he means and how far the other way they're going to go, because I do feel like a lot of people enjoy Shazam because of the comedic stuff in there. Just because I wasn't a huge fan of it, or, well, I didn't mind Shazam's, but just because I'm not a huge fan of all my comic book characters being super funny doesn't mean that a lot of people don't enjoy that, and it's fine too. So I wonder how far on the other end of the spectrum they're going to go. I don't think they'll go too far off. Like I said, I think it's going to be more of like a Thor Ragnarok to Iron Man type deal. You know, where it's not going to be super serious, but we don't know. Kids are growing up.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. because the kids, like you said, are growing up. So in some sense, like when a kid goes into the superhero's body, you've got to be like, okay, wait, I've got with great power comes great responsibility. There's your Marvel reference for you guys. But I think they're going to realize, okay, I have to take a little more charge and be a little more careful and hold these powers with great regard. But ultimately, they're still kids at heart. So I don't know how. I don't think they'll stray closer to Iron Man versus Thor Ragnarok. I think they'll get like in the middle.
Okay.
The kids.
Yeah. So. Well, and it also makes me wonder too with Shazam, if you're going to try to get 3 movies out of this and stay consistent with the characters, you kind of have to do it quickly, don't you? I mean, it's been a while since they did the first one. They're going to have to put the third one out if they're planning a third one with the same characters out pretty quickly. I mean, just like you said, kids grow up, especially at the ages the kids were at. They're going to look a lot different within just a few years. So,
yeah, I would say that absolutely. They're going to jump into filming the second one, and it makes me wonder if they took the COVID situation and said, okay, I'm going to go write Shazam 3 so that we can dive straight into it. Because, I mean, Wonder Woman 2 was out, 5 days before they said, oh yeah, Wonder Woman 3 is greenlit. And now David Sandberg's not getting the same benefit that Patty Jenkins did, because Patty had to sacrifice her theatrical run for HBO Max, but I still think Shazam's a great option for a trilogy. And hey, I'm really down to see more Black Adam come in Shazam 3, which is what we've been told is where Black Adam and Shazam will face off. So
and actually what you were talking about there with them just going ahead, if they feel like the second one's going to be a hit, green light in the third one and filming it now, I wonder if a lot of television shows or streaming shows and movies are going to start doing that, because we don't know what's going on with COVID or how long it's going to be before this set comes out, and you've got to get this kind of stuff out where normally you could do it in a 5-year span. Now it may take longer just because of COVID, so go ahead and get it filmed, and we'll be watching movies in theaters in theaters or streaming at home, much like Wonder Woman, that have been done for a long time, just waiting in line to come out.
Yeah.
It might be beneficial for him, but it's funny you did say the Black Adam, and that was
I provided you a great transition there.
You did. That was a great segue right there. And there's a Black Adam rumor, and IGN has debunked this rumor, at least from what I believe, that Black Adam will be renamed as Shazam. Did I say that right? Shazam. Oh, Shazam. Yeah, Shazam. Shazam. Whatever. Shazam. I guess that makes more sense than Shazam. Anyway, so the rumor originally reported by Bleeding Cool, who claimed that among the various plot twists introduced with the incoming comic book Frontier Zero, or Infinite Frontier Zero, Shazam's nemesis will take on a new name as part of its transition towards becoming a hero. The name change would seem to suggest that Black Adam is reclaiming his old throne as the herald of the wizard Shazam, leaving young Billy Batson out of a job. Rumor debunked, from what I understand. IGN says so.
Well, good, because not every anti-hero needs to redeem himself and become a hero.
Exactly. And not to mention why. Like, why are we... I guess that you could be thinking the same thing we were just talking about, where kids get older to get rid of Shazam, but why? Why do you need to? That's it. Have them both on the big screen. Works for me. Keep both characters in there.
Well, this was only comic related, so...
Oh, okay. Well, that makes even more sense. I didn't realize it was only comic related. We're going into it. So, that probably makes more sense why Bendis acknowledged it. And he says on the rumor, he says simply writing rumors are stupid, which is true.
Damn right.
But it does have some information on the movie on here. And that's why I was talking about the movie itself will feature the Justice Society of America, including One Night in Miami's Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. So I can't wait for these movies to come out, because it's going to open up a whole new world of heroes to people, and to me, a lot of people that I'm not super familiar with, and we've gotten a little bit of Justice Society with Stargirl, and I've really enjoyed it. And since it's all connected, at least you got a little bit of history with that, and I'm excited for it. The movie was originally slated to come out December 2021, and its release has been postponed due to the pandemic, which is about everything, right?
The Rock's training right now, so I would say we're looking probably late 2022.
When is The Rock not training?
But he's like,
you know,
whenever he trains for a movie, he always tags the movie. So
Yeah.
he's got Black Adam tagged like consistently in his posts about working out.
Yeah, I mean, but he's been doing that for years too, hasn't he? He's wanted this role,
He's wanted the role, but he's been like teasing it. Whereas in the past, he's like got to get in. Now he's like got to get in a Black Adam shape. Like he's like literally like going at it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, once again, I'm excited for it. Scheduled 2021. We don't know when it's going to happen, but as soon as filming starts, I take the kind of Chris Balgo approach with this. When I see it starting to get filmed, then I'll start to get excited for it or believe it.
But, and why they probably included movie references in the Shazam thing was because they're buzzwords and they help pop up on Google.
That's probably why, and that's probably what tricked me with that. So.
Your daily SEO knowledge from Katie dropping right now.
That's right. Well, see, this is why Travis does the news. Like, usually. So when it's me like running the news, I'm like, okay, I do the best I can, but
See, if he's gonna bail on you and leave me to fill in, then he should like prep everything for you.
Well, he did. He helped me with it. He gave me a lot of stuff to talk about. So, but we are out of the Shazam stuff right here. Okay, like I said, I know you love the Shazam movie.
You did,
I know you're looking
and I defend it a lot. If you're interested in my review, it is on my website, slicerscribbles.com. Go check it out there.
Are we ever going to see Shazam team up with other heroes in the DCEU? Be part of a new.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think this is going to remain like a self-contained trilogy with like references.
Mm-hmm. Where it's in the same universe, but not necessarily. You never see anything other than maybe a quick cameo.
The only thing I could think of is if Cavill comes in and plays Superman.
Which is not going to happen.
That would be it, though.
Well, it's not going to happen for the second movie. We didn't say it was going to happen for the third movie. Never knows if there's a third movie.
Never say never.
That's right. All right. Well, let's get out of the Shazam world. Let's go ahead and take a break real quick, and we'll come back and we'll start talking about some HBO numbers and a Superman and Lois trailer. All right.
Ooh, did I watch the trailer? Yes, I did.
All right. Well, here we go. So we're back, and let's talk about some HBO stuff here. I personally don't think I've watched anything else other than HBO Max, other than when my wife put something else on since I got HBO Max. Not that it's.
What about WandaVision?
Well, okay, yeah, maybe, yeah. I turn on for WandaVision, but I just love it. I guess what I'm trying to say is I love watching HBO Max. Everything on it's really, really cool. The interface kind of bothers me because it is slow. Maybe it's my TV, but it's very, very slow. It takes a while to load up, but I can get over that once I'm in. But HBO numbers. HBO has nearly 40 million subscribers. AT&T disclosed its first quarter earnings on Wednesday. Combined with the traditional HBO subscribers, the platform surpassed 41 million subscriber milestone, and the company says it's hit its 2-year mark. 2 years early. It didn't expect to hit that mark for 2 years. The problem is, of the 37.7 that domestic subscribers they have out there, 17.2 are considered activated, which is their term for someone who downloaded the app who didn't sign up independently and got it through a deal or existing subscriptions with HBO, which is not a huge number of it, about a third of it, I guess. But what do you think?
37 million?
37.7 and 17.2. So yeah, 20 million.
Okay.
Yeah, well, a little more than a third. But what do you think? How do you like HBO Max?
I like HBO. I've always thought it was kind of more top tier, and it's definitely leans more adultish from everything else. Not that I'm saying that other things can't be adult, but like in terms of content, the only other one I would say that like is comparable in its content would be Hulu. But Hulu's got a lot less interesting things for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or like it has things, but I've already purchased like the hard copies of it so that I could have it forever, so I don't have to pay Hulu. But I love HBO Max. I think probably about 2/3 of the time I'm on there when I'm watching stuff on TV. Like right now, I'm watching Justice League. We just got done watching The Flight Attendant.
What do you think about that? DC show. We'll go straight real quick.
The first 6 episodes drove me up the wall.
Yeah.
Because the main character played by Kaylee is just dumb.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the point. But I liked the mystery aspects. I just needed her to be less dumb.
Right. Oh yeah. Like I said, I'm enjoying it. I'm only like 4 episodes into it. We started watching it and had to stop just watching a bunch of other stuff. But some just finished watching 7 seasons of something that I can't believe I waste time watching 7 seasons of. We'll talk about it later. But yeah.
What did you wait? What did you watch?
The 100.
You hated the 100?
I hated the ending of it.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
We'll talk about it. Anyway, so yeah, that's what my wife's been watching on Netflix. That's pretty much the only thing I'm watching other than HBO Max is that, and then WandaVision. But yeah, it's funny because 85% of people who signed up for HBO Max in the first 3 days stayed subscribed after Wonder Woman left on January 24th. Now, granted, I know that when you sign up for a month subscription, your subscription may not be up till the beginning of February. So I'd like to see the numbers after February to compare them. But that's a good sign that not a lot of people are leaving HBO Max, especially whenever 46% of people admitted that they were stopping a lot of streaming services or subscribing to a lot of streaming services in 2020. So while people are using less streaming services, HBO Max is sustaining their numbers for the most part, which is a good deal. Yeah, looks good. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the movies coming out. I mean, it's a great feature to be able to have these slate of movies coming out, knowing that if you subscribe to HBO Max, you can watch these movies.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like with Netflix and Hulu, they're still coming out with content, but it's nowhere near the quality that HBO Max is going to be releasing with this movie slate. And so you can only watch so many Vanessa Hudgens princess-based movies on Netflix. You can only watch that so many times.
Right.
So.
Well, and I also look at it, there are only so many movies on like Netflix that I see. Like I see a lot of good Netflix original movies, but there are only like a few of them that I look at like, man, that would have been cool to see in theaters. Whereas these movies that we're getting, you can see in theaters, and I would love to see a lot of them in theaters. Hopefully one day I will get to. So, but last little bit about HBO Max here is the CW and HBO Max are in talks to co-finance original shows to premiere on HBO Max with next day airing on the CW. Great deal.
That's good. I think the CW could use an uptake in quality and maybe I don't know, get rid of Riverdale or something, make it a lot better on themselves.
Yeah. Well, I think that they are. For me, it feels like they are with this Superman and Lois and with Stargirl. They feel different than DCCW, and those are technically DCCW properties that are. We
have not seen the CW produce Stargirl yet.
This is true. This is very, very true. I hope they don't CW-fy it and make it 23 episodes and. Travis is going to strangle me for saying that, but no, I mean, CW does some really good stuff, but you're right. There definitely is a difference in quality when you look at the two. It's like I look at the Lois or Superman and Lois trailer, and I get more Man of Steel vibes than I do anything CW. So I'm excited for that, and the fact that CW and HBO Max are in talks to do this is good for people just in general. I mean, meaning if this show is streaming on HBO Max, you can watch on CW the next day. It's kind of the way CW does their apps now, where if you don't watch it live, you can watch on the CW app the next day. But it's
I would imagine this deal would include them not streaming the day after on the CW app.
Well, what do you mean? This deal? Well, this deal, that's what it is. Part of it is HBO Max with the next day airing on the CW. Oh, you're talking about on the CW
on
app?
The CW app.
I got you. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know a ton of details about this one, but, it's out there. And speaking, just kind of keeping it here in CW before we get to the last little topic of this, let's talk about this Superman and Lois trailer. So the second one came out. I don't want to say a lot different than the first one, but they definitely focused on a lot of different things. The first one seemed to focus more on the overall story, where you see that they don't have the jobs anymore. You see that the parents have died. They've moved to the farm, and you get the small reveal of him showing he's Superman to his kids. Whereas this second one seems more focused on him and his kids like coping with his dad being Superman, or showing him and the kids coping with it. And it shows there might be some problems with some of these kids, with one of these kids in the future with his dad being Superman. So what did you think?
The first trailer better. One thing that the CW has really driven me up the wall with is the teen angst.
Yeah.
Which the second trailer really reminded me of. Whereas like the first trailer, I was like, ooh, that's pretty. And now I'm like, I always thought it was going to be interesting taking this as a family first show, because as we see in this trailer, Lois is like, the world will always need Superman. Right now, your kids need their dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how is this going to work as a TV show? I'll believe it when I see it, I guess. I probably am not going to check this out day one. I'm probably going to wait a couple weeks, maybe binge on the CW app and kind of see how it goes and kind of make a decision from there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Tyler Hoechlin as Superman. And I think her name's Elizabeth Tulloch as Lois Lane. They have great chemistry based off on what we've seen in the past for them. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, especially with them when we last saw them saying, oh, okay, we just had a baby. And now all of a sudden they've got 2 teenage kids.
Right. Yeah. The fast forward in time, you're wondering if we're going to get any kind of flashbacks in between those times. I'm sure we will, which will be pretty cool.
I think so, because I mean, it's Crisis on Infinite Earth kind of taking everything and twisting it. So it'll be a shock factor for sure for Lois and Clark.
Yeah. Well, I like that you hit on the teen angst type deal, and the fact that CW kind of does that. And that's one thing that kind of drove me away from Flash. And it's one thing that with Batwoman watching this, that I was hoping that Luke was going to get over. And luckily, I feel like if you followed us covering it, he kind of has. I don't like them lingering, that kind of dragging that stuff on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, it's over, get over it. Stop acting like this. Don't make the characters hateable right from the beginning because they're whiny. And that's what I don't want. And you're right. I did get kind of those vibes from the second trailer where it looks like one kid's going to be kind of whiny. And I can get that right off the bat, but I hope it's not something that's drug out throughout the whole, like, first 5 or 6 episodes. Like, figure it out. Either he's going to be a bad guy or he's going to get over this and let's move on type deal. And I hope that's where they go with that. But.
And the other thing I think, to me, it's interesting that the show is Superman and Lois versus Clark and Lois, especially if they're going to throw the tagline in of our kids need their father right now. Like, to me, I'm like, okay, so he's going to skip out on them at that part because he feels too much dedication in the world, and I guess it's maybe like a balance. But at the same time, I'm like, why? I don't know.
I mean, I think that's what it is about. I think it is the balance between family and Superman, and that's always been Superman's thing: is having a family and knowing how hard it's going to be, not only for the family's safety, but just for having a family and being the caretaker of the world. You know, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, and I'm excited for it. I know that the first episode is 2 hours. I'll be watching it. I said I don't know if I'll be watching it the night of day one when it drops. I'd like to, but it just depends on what I'm doing, what's going on that night. But I definitely will be watching it. We'll be covering it on DC Alliance, and I'm sure Travis is going to want to talk about it because it looks really good. I'm like I said, Man of Steel vibes, and I love the suit. I love the look of it, and yeah, it's coming soon.
So you mentioned Batwoman, and I just wanted to touch on it because I got caught up because I was like, oh, there's going to be a new episode this week, and then there wasn't a new episode this week. It shows how much I pay attention nowadays to the CW. Javicia has done a pretty good job with the role, I think. I'm interested to kind of see how it progresses. She did catch my attention, so I will keep watching after this. For me, the transition between seasons, I know it got cut off because of COVID. But man, I just wish that it just recast and said, this is Kate Kane. Like,
wow. Okay. I'm going to have to watch because you watched the first season, didn't you? You watched it? I'm going to have to watch the first season again then, because that's the same thing Travis says. Even after seeing this, and he likes the performance, he likes where they're going. He's not knocking it, saying it's being terrible, but he's in the same position, and he tells me that I can understand that because I haven't watched the first season. Well, now you're saying that, and you just watched the first season. I guess I got to go back.
Watched in like 4 days.
Yeah, I guess I got to go back and watch it. I mean, and like I said, I'm not saying y'all are wrong, because I just don't have that feeling yet, because I wasn't as attached to the characters. But hearing you say to me,
attached to Ruby Rose's Kate Kane, but the story on how they did it.
Okay.
I'm not thrilled.
You would have rather just kept Kate Kane.
Yeah. I would have just rather, like, and it's funny because, like, she has a twin in this, so why not just put, like, Alice into the role of Kate Kane and just have her play both characters? Like,
yeah, I mean, you got it.
You could have done it that way.
Right to CW, yeah.
Heck, I would have even said, okay, this is Kate Kane. Everyone's just gonna have to, like, deal with it, move on, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
the Rhodey effect in Iron Man, you know? Just recast it and just act like nothing ever happened. And it works as long as the character's good. You know, it definitely works. So I want to ask.
And obviously the show's earned a 3rd season. Like, it's already been renewed for a 3rd season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good for them.
I want to ask you then. So how do you feel about, you're caught up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you feel about where they're going with this Kate Kane story? Because personally, I think that I don't think that they're bringing her back. I just don't. So I'd rather them just drop that story and move on with Ryan Wilder and let Ryan Wilder be Batwoman and drop this Kate Kane stuff.
The problem with going to a new character is that you still have to deal with the old character's recovery from losing the old character.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what the CW has struggled with, is going, okay, this is a show about the Flash. Why am I spending so much time on the side characters?
Yeah. When
they're just supporting roles. And really, the Flash is the main character.
23 episodes. That's why. Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
But, like, and it's not that at season 1 and season 2, I get having to build those side characters up because you want them to be powerful enough to help the heroine or the hero in this case. But that's kind of a downside of having a giant cast, is you have to say, okay, now if I need to go in a different direction, I've now got to justify these characters all of a sudden moving on. Because grief is a real thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, so you can't just say, oh, Kate Kane's now disappeared and her sister, her brother, her other sister, her teammate are all just fine about it all of a sudden.
Right. And no, I get that. And I'm totally fine with, I feel like in the first 3 episodes you could wrap that up, but it feels like where they're moving forward with it is that they're saying, oh, well, she's still alive, so we're going to run with this plot line. So it's like, ugh.
So here's what I think is going to happen. They're going to run with this plot line the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. And then in the final episodes, you're going to see Ruby Rose return as Kate Kane. And she's going to pass down the handle and go live with one of her flings or find happiness, whatever the CW wants to do with it.
Yeah.
And then never return.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen, because they probably roped Ruby back in to say, hey, you can leave. That's fine. But you've got to come back and kind of help hand the role off, so it's not just like you disappeared. Yeah. Because that's the only thing that really makes sense to me, is that, especially with the way they're going, you're not just going to leave that off.
Yeah.
You're not just going to leave that hanging.
Yeah, and see, that's what throws me off too, is because I just don't get, unless that's what's happening, I don't get why you even run with this storyline of she's alive. You know, but you're right. It's something that could possibly happen. It's not much to come in and have a cameo real quick, one little scene. So I guess it could happen, but we'll see what happens, you know? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was cool. We weren't going to talk Batwoman, but I like it. Interested to see what happens next week with the show. So Valentine's Day is the next episode. Last little part of this here is a Suicide Squad synopsis. So
Synopsis? I'm just kidding.
This is straight from the direct, and it reads as: Welcome to Hell, aka Bell Rev. the prison with the highest mortality rate in the US of A, where the worst supervillains are kept and where they do anything to get out, even join a super secret, super shady Task Force X. Today's do or die assignment: assemble a collection of cons, including Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Captain Boomerang, Ratcatcher 2, Savant, King Shark, Blackguard, Javelin, and everyone's favorite psycho, Harley Quinn. Then arm them and drop them literally on a remote infused island of island of
Words are
Corto
hard.
Maltese. Yeah, my mouth is dry. Corto Maltese. So that's the first part of the synopsis. That doesn't tell me anything that I didn't already know, right?
Yep.
I mean, from the trailer, from everything I've known about this scene, it just seems like it's pretty much it. So it's not really revealing a whole lot of things. Second part of it, though, is trekking through the jungle, teaming with militant adversaries and guerrilla forces at every turn. The squad is on a search and destroy mission with only Colonel Rick Flag on the ground to make them behave, and Amanda Waller's government techies in their ears, tracking their every movement. And as always, one wrong move and they're dead, whether it's by the hands of their opponents, a teammate, or Waller herself. If anyone's laying down bets, the smart money is against all of them. So that is the synopsis for Suicide Squad.
So
I'm excited for this movie.
Before we get into it,
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you one question.
Sure.
Which top playing Suicide Squad member, so like Harley Quinn, Sportsmaster, do you think is going to die in this movie?
Mm. You know what I think would be interesting is if he killed Peacemaker. Knowing that he's gonna have a show coming up, because the show coming up is a prequel, right? Is like before this, right?
You're right. Yeah.
So wouldn't that blow everybody's mind if everybody's expecting Peacemaker, this all new character in the DCU, and that's the guy that gets killed, and you do it in some kind of douchey way?
Well, you know? I think Brent would probably kill me if I didn't say this, but like, doesn't that like dissuade people from watching Peacemaker?
Yes, it could, but couldn't you make the same argument about people watching a Black Widow movie after she's been killed?
And
I mean,
so you're saying what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it could dissuade people from watching a Black Widow movie. Just saying. Although it is different. You're talking apples and oranges there. People are already invested in Black Widow and love Black Widow. People are not invested in Peacemaker, even though I've seen a lot of hype about him online. People are really starting to like him. I wasn't a huge fan, but I'm coming around to what's going on. You know, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this, because they've got a lot of hope about this character. Obviously, they've already greenlit a show for him, which there is some new casting news that we'll cover next week, because I don't have it in the notes. But yeah, this is going to be a really cool movie. I love the practical effects. Is one of the coolest things I think I've seen about this movie. They're using a lot of practical effects for explosions and all kinds of different things. Really fun. I like Harley Quinn Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I don't know where this movie is going to land on the radar for me of like, oh man, this is so great, you've got to go see it, or it was a pretty good movie. Because the first one had its problems. You know, first one was messed with a lot. This one's not going to be as tinkered with, I don't think, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think. Well, okay, I said this. I would say Gunn came over and was like, "No, you're not touching this," kind of thing. Which, I mean, stuff can happen. I mean, clearly. So
no.
It's debatable. I mean, the movie is supposed to come out in July, August of this year, somewhere in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen a trailer yet.
Right. So that doesn't bode well for it. And you know, once again, everything is going to be delayed.
I'm not saying it doesn't bode well, because Solo started marketing 3.5 months before it came out, and I love Solo. I love Solo to death. So
yeah,
but in the eyes of most people, not releasing a trailer or a sneak peek at actual movie footage can be like, oh, that doesn't sound very good.
Right. Or it doesn't get a lot of people interested in it, because not a lot of people are as in depth with these kind of things as, you know, us who listen to these shows and great these shows are. General public may not even, or general fans might not even know about what's going on.
Yep.
You know? So I doubt that I can walk up to a parent and ask them if they know anything about a Suicide Squad 2 movie coming out, even because you're right, there's been nothing about it. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. Like I said, the first one was a different kind of movie. They've got some crazy characters in this one. Just interested to see what Gunn does with this.
Yeah, I'm excited. After Guardians of the Galaxy, Gunn's kind of got my eye when it comes to superhero movies.
Yeah.
I think so. This will definitely be a day one watch for me.
Okay. If this is available for you to see in theaters, is that where you're seeing it, or are you seeing it at home?
I would love to see it in theaters. What I'll probably end up doing with all of these, because it depends. Because right now I have a Regal Unlimited pass that says I can see unlimited movies at a Regal theater for like $19 a month. And so if that's there, and depending on where we're at in the world, then I might go see it in theaters. But honestly, it'll probably be a couch watch for me.
Yeah. So you're still paying for your Regal pass through?
No, it's on delay because there's not a single theater in South Carolina open right now.
Okay. So
Regal
I was just wondering if they did that, because I know like a lot of the gyms that I'm at around here, they still charge your monthly fee even though the gym wasn't open. So it's like,
oh no. I also paid for an annual membership. So technically they're not charging me because I already paid for it. They've just delayed my year. So
those aren't wasted months you have there, which is really nice of them to do. That's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that covers up just about all the news we got here. We got one more thing to talk about. Save the last segment for Zack Snyder Justice League. You hear the train coming by because I started talking about Zack Snyder Justice League, so the train had to blow. It's awesome. But before we do that, let's take one more break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some Zack Snyder Justice League.
Yep.
We'll be right back. All right, Podcast Magic, we're back, and Katie's wearing the shirt. You know,
I am.
I'm gonna have that one nice and clean and pressed for that day.
Pressed.
Yeah, sleep in it that night, wake up in it, and just not get out of bed until after the movie's over. So, but we are super excited. I know Friday on Super Civil Servants we talked about some pictures that Zack Snyder had dropped on Vero. Katie, have you had a chance to look at some of the pictures? I know if you weren't watching live, you didn't really get a chance to see them, but I'm sure you probably have.
I don't remember seeing any pictures now.
Well, let's share some pictures then. How about
that?
Yes,
let's share the screens.
I'll do it in a reverse order of which we did it on Super Civil Servants here, and let's get your thought about this. Share screen. Okay. Let's share that one right there. So this one for me, when I looked at it, do you see it?
Yeah.
This one for me, when I looked at it, was just, I thought it was something like, looks like just a behind the scenes type look. I didn't think it meant anything, but the guys on Super Civil Servant said that they have a feeling that this is an actual scene in the movie of him walking down a hall. No idea where it's going to be. I mean, obviously walking down a hall because it's a hallway in front of him, but I guess it makes sense. Like I said, I don't know anything about the movie right now, but this looks awesome. Any kind of awesome scene or shot of Batman is really cool to look at. What do you think?
I would say it's still a behind the scenes look because you can see like the scaffolding and everything holding up the walls.
That's what I was thinking too.
So I would say definitely behind the scenes. I mean, Snyder's kind of known for that, isn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's the thing is this could be a scene they're setting up for, but this particular picture was taken like out of the scene. You know, like
I would say that's what it is. And it honestly looks like he could be facing down like a chair or something. With how the shadowing is played off the walls. So I wouldn't necessarily say this is a hallway. I just say it's a really cool shot of into a room. Yeah.
Well, that one could lead into this next one here. And if these two are related, then you know, it'll be interesting.
Oh, this is the Joker picture you're gonna show me?
This is the Joker picture, yeah. So really enjoyed this one too. Let's share this one. So this is Jared Leto's Joker, and it's going to be a completely different look. So I'm assuming this is a post-apocalyptic look. It's you know, a beaten, battered Joker. Wondering if maybe that scene, these two scenes are connected, and that's Batman going to get Joker for that 4-minute scene that we're getting with Margot Robbie and Joker and Deathstroke and Batman. It'll be interesting to see that, but I don't know, you know.
Did we know Margot was coming for Justice League?
I'm pretty sure that one was confirmed. That she. Let me double check, but I could just be talking. I'm not positive. So, all right, let's stop sharing.
I've been bad about my podcast listening. I've been listening to too many audiobooks.
Yeah, between audiobooks and the fact that I've been delivering like 4 days out of the week and carrying one, I don't have as much time to listen. So I'm so behind on my podcast listening too. It's insane. But yeah, these pictures are really, really cool. And then of course there was the one the week before, and I think me and Travis talked about it, and that was the I'll share this one too, just so we can get your reaction on this one. It's the Cyborg picture with him flying up, and it's got the quote from Martian Manhunter in it. We are going to get more Martian Manhunter in this movie, or at least some Martian Manhunter in this movie. And this is a quote he actually says. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Greg, I just want you to know, okay, I'm judging you for not having dark mode on Twitter.
Dark mode? Oh, on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm judging you.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, I did actually see this one. Going back to the Joker one real fast. I actually didn't mind Jared Leto's performance as Joker.
Yeah.
I thought the look was strange, but I didn't mind the performance.
I think they could have toned the look down a little bit, and I think it would have helped. I think that was people's biggest problem, because I don't think the performance was bad at all. It's a different take on it, and he's pretty psycho. The look, you're right, was a little. I still didn't mind it. Maybe get rid of some of the tattoos. Maybe that would have helped me a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't need the damaged tattoo.
Yeah, I think that's. I think you might could just remove that one, and I think it might change the whole game up. So
yeah.
But let's see what else on here. We got there was the pictures Zack Snyder dropped, and then right before the show, I saw a tweet of a new clip with Steppenwolf fighting the Amazons.
Saw that one?
Did you see that one?
And I just want to say to people who are like, "Oh, he's cutting women's heads off. Like this is violence against women." What bullshit! Like, they're in a fucking movie. And
right.
Gosh dang it, like, where was the outrage about them getting beat up, or a whole skew of them getting locked in a tomb where they were guarding the mother box originally? Because they locked like 300 women in there. So for me, this clip is like, okay, they signed on to be Amazons. Amazons are warriors.
Right.
Point blank, done.
100% agree. Yeah.
And I mean, Amazons got killed in Wonder Woman. They didn't get killed in Wonder Woman 2, but like Wonder Woman, definitely. I mean, that's the opening scene right there. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
I saw a lot of that on Twitter today, and I was like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, well, I've been taking a break from Twitter, so this was new to me up until a couple of hours ago, and I haven't seen the reactions for it. But I hate that people are reacting to it like that. It's so stupid. It's a battle scene in a movie, exactly like I said. I love the way it looks. I love how he's walking around with the arrow stuck in him. It looks like they're about to defeat him here. I'm not sure where this scene's at exactly, but it looks like they're about to defeat him. I'm not guessing that they do. Love him swinging his axe around with the lightning. I can't wait to see this one finished and in color. I can't wait to see this Steppenwolf. Because I'm not going to lie, while I like the look, I was a little worried how it would look in motion. This doesn't look bad, just in the gray scale that he's given us. So I imagine with finished effects and everything, color and everything, it'll probably look pretty good. Because that was the one thing I was really worried about, was how it was going to look in motion. It doesn't look that bad. Really doesn't look bad. I love the arrows sticking out of him. That's awesome.
I think it looked good. That's about all I have to say about it. Like, for me, it'll be interesting to see the trailer. That's supposed to come out Valentine's Day.
Yep.
I get the date, I get the timing, but why's it gotta be Valentine's Day? Let me have my day.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I just found out about that too, and that was the last little part here about it, is that we are getting a trailer on February 14th. And so the clip that he let out with the trailer, when he announced that, I'm assuming is a part of the trailer. What's the trailer? It's called like First and Goal or something like that.
Yeah.
Or At the Goal Lines. I can't remember. Something that has to do with a goal line. I know that. It'll be interesting. I think this trailer is going to be Cyborg / Victor Stone centric. Like, it's going to be heavily focused on him. Because once again, this was that was the heart of the movie when Zack Snyder was doing it. And we haven't seen a whole lot of that. And I feel like you can give a lot of really cool cyborg scenes away without giving a ton of plot away because he's such a huge part of the movie. I think you're going to get a little bit of backstory with him in this trailer, and then maybe, just a real quick snippet of what happened, some scenes you haven't seen yet. I got to be honest though, I don't know if I need another trailer. Like it'll be cool to see, but I don't know if I need another trailer.
I think honestly, it needs to be a footage specific trailer. It doesn't need to be a story based trailer, because the real thing people have been pulling for this is the story. And honestly, you don't want to disappoint people with a trailer by having it be story focused, and you're never going to tell a full story in a trailer. So honestly, it needs to be mainly footage based, or heck, even bring in kind of like the stuff about from Batman and Wonder Woman and BVS, like talking about how we need to build a unit or something of the lines, and kind of have that be the main focus, and then just give a bunch of footage. Because I mean, people are going to watch the trailer no matter what. But a footage trailer is the way, I think, to get more people to watch the movie when it comes out. So
I agree. The only thing I'm worried about, like I said, with putting more stuff out there is like I've already seen Steppenwolf in motion. It wasn't finished, but I've already seen Steppenwolf in motion. I've already seen Superman in the black suit. I've already seen a bunch of different things happen that could have been surprises or something. And I'm just wondering, like, how many more surprises are there going to be? Like, how much more am I going to see? Be like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. Or have I seen a lot of things already that's like, oh, well, that was the spoiler of what was happening, I don't think he's going to spoil the movie, but they did put Doomsday in the trailer for Batman vs Superman, and I think that was a bad move. As much as I love that movie, I think that was a bad move.
Hey, no one except your contract as a DC podcast host says you have to watch the trailer.
That's true. That's true. It is my choice to watch the trailer, but I mean, if you put it out there, I'm going to watch it. Well, I don't know. I know that when stuff like the Star Wars movies come out, I usually about 3 or 4 days before the movie comes out, I stop looking at anything for it. And I'll probably start doing that with Zack Snyder's Justice League, a few days beforehand, just not watch anything at all. Just forget it and kind of purge myself, I guess, of any kind of Zack Snyder knowledge or love. That way, when I get there that day, I can soak more in, and enjoy it even more. But I'm going to be excited. Coming out on the 18th of March, and I think I wrote the day count down here. The day count was 38 days.
Yep.
So, and I asked Google that time. Travis told me I was wrong last time. I was off by a day, and I was like, oh, I was counting the day too. So, but I asked Google that time how many days it was to there. So it's the 18th. I believe it comes out at like 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Is when it's coming out, or when the release is.
Stuff in the past for HBO Max has come out like 9 a.m. Eastern.
Well, I know that it may be 12:30 Pacific. I know they announced a time, but I can't remember which time was Easter, like which standard it was. I'm pretty sure 12:30 was on there though, so it may have been like 12:30.
We can do a Google. We've got time.
We can do that. Oh, well, while you do that, just to give an update, Katie's taking the day off. I know I'm taking the day off. Travis is going to be able to watch it that day. I know we're planning on DC Alliance doing a special show that night, and we're going to cover just talk all about Zack Snyder's Justice League and the joy that we just watched, things we loved, things we hated. Full spoiler that night. If you can't catch us that night, we'll be live on YouTube. We're also going to be talking about it on Super Civil Servants for everybody who can't get on the DC Alliance to talk about the night before. So there's going to be 2 full days of Zack Snyder Justice League reviews coming up, and you're going to get to hear a lot of people's opinions. I'm willing to bet that between DC Alliance and Super Civil Servants, you'll get to hear everybody on the network's opinions on one of those 2 shows. So you're going to get a lot of thoughts from everybody. It's going to be a really good time.
I'm going to be on DC Alliance.
There you go. What was the time? Did you see it? Did you find it?
There's not currently a time.
There's not currently a time. I could have sworn I saw something with a time. I could be wrong though. Hey, just imagine that. But
let me do one more Google.
Okay.
What time?
Oh gosh, I've played the trailer over here on my other screen. It just keeps playing over and over and over again. It's going to be a really cool scene. So, okay, with Zack Snyder's Justice League, what what scene or what stuff do you know is coming that you're the most excited to see? Like for me, I have to say that just based on the knowledge and everything else, and the fact that I haven't seen anything about it yet, or haven't seen any footage from it yet, other than maybe the picture we just saw, is going to be the nightmare scene, or the 4 minutes of footage that was filmed afterwards. For me, that's going to be it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see the entire movie.
So it looks like 5 a.m. Central, so 6 a.m.
6
That is when typical HBO Max content releases.
Okay.
Now, Wonder Woman 1984 came out 12 p.m. Christmas Day.
Right. So. I remember that. And that's why I'm wondering if they're going to wait on this one too and wait. But either way, that day I'm watching. I'm setting aside 4 hours that day and I'm watching it. And then I'm setting aside probably another 2.5 hours and talking about it. So it's going to be an interesting time. But yeah, come join us on DC Alliance, Katie. We'll throw stuff back. Come join us in Super Civil Servants. Talk about it. Here's some other stuff too. It's going to be a lot of Snyder stuff coming up soon. We're all excited about this. Everybody on this network, I believe, is a pretty big Snyder fan. I think I can speak for most when I say that. So
I'm not a Snyder fan. I appreciate what he's done expanding DC on film.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. Okay.
I'm glad that he got his cut. Go check out my article on Full Circle Cinema if you're interested on why I'm excited for the release, but I'm not a fan of his universe.
Check it out. She always writes good stuff. But all right, well, that's it for the night. Katie, thanks so much for filling in. And once again, you're always welcome on here. But where can they find you at if they want to get a hold of you?
You can find me on Twitters at Slice of Katie. Greg, make sure you have it right in the description box.
Yeah.
I do 2 other shows on the network, Slice of Film, where I and a guest talk about a film of their choice. It doesn't necessarily have to be a classic film, but about 90% of the time, it's a movie I've never seen, which is what Greg's episode is going to be. My next episode is with, well, I'll leave that as a surprise.
Check it out. That's right.
Check it out. But we're going to be talking about Blade Runner, which I've actually seen before, but I saw it through new eyes this time. So that will be the next Slice of Film episode. My other show on the network is Star Wars Alliance, where Nathan and I go through a galaxy far, far away. Right now, Nathan and I are talking about Into the Dark. So Into the Dark chapters 1 to 13 review is on Geek Versus YouTube page, where we're at right now. So if you're interested in watching the video, go back a couple of days. You'll see it. Otherwise, it will be in podcast feeds 2 days from now, so on Thursday. So go check it out.
Check it out. It's always fun listening.
And then I sometimes pop in on Super Civil Servants.
Yeah. So. There you go. Always welcome. Like I said, that's the open show. You found a lot of guests on that one. So, but you can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. It's my personal handle. Come check me out, and you find that, and you can find everything I'm on, which is DC Alliance Podcast on Mondays, airs on Tuesdays. Superhero Discussions, we drop that on Fridays. Super Civil Servants records live on Fridays, drops on Saturdays. Then I do See-Through Panthers podcast live on Tuesday nights, and the audio drops Wednesday mornings, I believe. So come check us out. Just about every show I do is live. So if you don't look at me, just turn the video off, or I can turn mine off if I get enough people to tell me to. But anyway, come check out the shows. We appreciate everybody's support. We appreciate everybody who listens, the downloads, like, share, review, tell a friend, and just keep, hanging out. Give us questions. Talk to us. We love the interaction. But we're going to go ahead and get out of here. And until next week, keep pounding.